The old relationship we had with the United States, based on deepening integration of our economies and tight security and military cooperations, is over.
So yeah, Canada just pulled off one of the boldest trade moves in recent history, a $214 billion power play that might have just reshuffled the entire global deck. The US wasn't ready, but now the whole world's watching. What does this mean for the future of trade? Will America strike back, or are we witnessing a new leader rise? We're just getting started. All right, let's rewind a bit so all this makes sense. 4 years, the US has basically been the MVP of global trade. Think of it like the captain of a championship team, always first pick, always calling the plays. Countries like China, Mexico, Germany, and Japan, they've all been major players in America's trade circle. Billions of dollars are flowing in and out every year. In 2023 alone, US trade with its top 5 partners topped over $1.8 trillion. That's not small change, that's economic muscle. Now sure, there have been ups and downs, trade wars, tariffs, shifting supply chains. But even with all that noise, the US was still at the center of the table carving the turkey. But something's been changing lately, and not a lot of people were paying attention. See, while the US was tightening policies, pulling back on trade talks, and dealing with internal political messiness, Canada was out there making quiet moves, smart ones, strategic ones. The kind of moves that don't make headlines, until they do. And now here we are, $214 billion later, watching one of America's closest allies scoop up trade deals that used to have the US name on them. So how the heck did we get here? How did Canada, usually the quiet neighbor, end up pulling off a massive power play in global trade? Buckle up, 'cause the next part's where it gets really interesting. Okay, so here's what actually went down. Canada just signed what's being called the Pan-Atlantic Trade Compact, a massive $214 billion agreement that brings together a mix of global heavyweights: Germany, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, and even a few rising players like Vietnam and South Africa. Yeah, that's a serious lineup. Now, this isn't just a basic import-export handshake. This deal goes deep. We're talking no tariffs on clean energy tech, aerospace parts, rare earth minerals, AI software, pharmaceuticals, and, get this, agricultural goods too. So now, instead of these countries going to the US for soybeans or lithium or smart chips, they're locking those orders in with Canada for the next 2 decades. That's right, 20 years of stable trade, guaranteed supply chains, and zero tariff friction. That's like getting a VIP business subscription to half the world's economy. And the craziest part? It all went down without the US in the room, not even on the guest list. This deal wasn't random either. It's been in the works for months, quietly negotiated while everyone else was watching the usual trade drama play out between the US and China. Meanwhile, Canada was building trust, locking in green incentives, offering tax breaks, and forming new digital trade standards, stuff that future-proofs the entire agreement. And here's a little cherry on top. This deal is structured to expand, so more countries, especially US allies, can opt in over time. Meaning this $214 billion figure? It could just be the starting point. What we're seeing here isn't just a one-off trade win. It's a strategic shift, and it's got Washington watching closely. So who exactly is in on this deal with Canada? Let's break it down, because this isn't just a bunch of random countries signing a contract. These are major players, and a few of them used to be tight with the US. First up, Germany. Traditionally one of America's strongest allies, especially when it comes to auto manufacturing and tech. But after years of trade tensions and tariff threats from the US, Germany's been looking for more stability. Canada came in offering clean energy incentives, access to raw materials, and fewer political strings attached. Germany said yes. Then there's Japan. This one's huge. Japan has long been a core tech and innovation partner to the US, especially with semiconductors. But this Canadian deal offers them better IP protections, fast-track supply chain agreements, and shared investment into AI research. For Japan, it's a no-brainer. Brazil, a major player in agriculture and energy. With Canada focusing on green exports and global food security, Brazil fits in perfectly. The two nations are already aligning on climate tech and biofuel initiatives. South Korea, another strategic heavyweight. They are jumping on board for the digital infrastructure and electronics piece of the deal. Think chips, batteries, telecom, all the good stuff. And then there's the wild card, Vietnam. Rapidly growing, resource-rich, and ready to scale. They see this deal as a chance to lock in global exposure without having to go through the messy politics of US-based partnerships. What's wild here is that most of these countries have had long-standing economic ties with the US. But instead of waiting for the next Washington Trade Summit or renegotiated treaty, they're hedging their bets on Canada, which, let's be honest, hasn't always been seen as a power player on this level. That's what makes this such a big shift. It's not just about the money. It's about trust, stability, and the future. So how did this happen? Why would countries, some of the US's oldest trade partners, suddenly pivot to Canada? Well, it's not one single thing. It's a perfect storm of factors that Canada quietly took advantage of while the US was distracted. Let's start with the obvious. US trade policy has been a roller coaster lately. Between shifting tariffs, political gridlock, and unpredictable diplomacy, partners started getting nervous. One administration signs a deal, the next one threatens to tear it up. That kind of instability? It's exhausting for countries trying to plan long-term. Meanwhile, Canada was out here playing the long game. First big advantage, resources. Canada has some of the world's richest deposits of rare earth minerals, the stuff needed to build batteries, EVs, semiconductors, satellites, you name it. And while the US was still caught in supply chain drama with China, Canada was offering clean, ethical, and reliable sourcing. A major win for countries looking to move away from high-risk suppliers. Second, political stability. Canada's government, while not perfect, has been far more consistent on trade. No whiplash. No sudden policy U-turns. That gave international partners the confidence to commit to long-term deals without wondering if it'll all get ripped up in 4 years. Third, smart immigration and innovation policies. Canada's been investing heavily in high-skill immigration, green tech, and AI development. That means their labor force is growing smarter and more specialized, a big signal to trade partners looking to bet on future-ready economies. Oh, and here's a fact most people miss. According to the World Economic Forum, Canada ranked in the top 5 globally for economic openness and trustworthiness in trade as of 2024. That's not marketing, that's based on real performance metrics. So while the US was focusing inward, tightening up, protecting its own base, Canada opened the doors wider. And the world walked in. So what does this actually mean for the US? Short answer, it's a wake-up call. And a painful one. Let's talk dollars first. When countries like Germany, Japan, and Brazil start redirecting major portions of their trade to Canada, that's not just a loss on paper. That's real money the US misses out on, in the form of exports, investment, and even influence. Take agriculture, for example. If Canada becomes the new go-to supplier for soy, beef, and grains, especially in Europe and Asia, that's billions of dollars that used to flow into states like Iowa, Kansas, and Nebraska now heading north instead. Then there's tech. If countries like Japan and South Korea start choosing Canadian firms for AI development, semiconductor supply, or green infrastructure, that's a major shift in where future innovation gets built, and who controls it. US companies lose leverage. US workers lose demand. Politically, it puts the US in a tough spot. If longtime allies are suddenly choosing to do more business with Canada, especially long-term deals, it sends a subtle but powerful message: we're not sure if we can count on you anymore. And here's the kicker: these deals aren't designed to be temporary. They are structured for decades. Which means, by the time the US tries to rebuild those relationships, it might be too late to fully catch up. In a global economy, being left out doesn't just mean lost money. It means lost momentum. Now let's flip the lens. Because for Canada, this is massive. First off, this $214 billion deal gives Canada something it hasn't had in a long time on the global stage: leverage. We're talking instant credibility. Canada's no longer just the polite middleman in North American trade. It's becoming a primary supplier and strategic partner to some of the biggest economies in the world. Economically, this deal is projected to boost Canada's GDP by up to 2.4% over the next 3 years, according to early estimates from the OECD. That's not just solid, that's a major bump, especially for a country that size. But it's not just about raw numbers. This is a sector-wide win. Tech and AI? More investment, more partnerships, more jobs. Energy and mining? Global buyers for their lithium, nickel, and rare earths, all critical for electric vehicles and clean energy tech. Agriculture? New international demand means more support for Canadian farmers and exporters. And beyond the economy, this puts Canada in a whole new geopolitical position. When you control essential resources and offer political stability, suddenly other countries want you at the negotiating table. This gives Canada a stronger voice in trade talks, tech regulations, climate action, all of it. Not bad for the quiet neighbor, right? And here's the coolest part. This isn't some once-in-a-generation lucky break. Canada earned this through smart planning, steady diplomacy, and investing in the right industries at the right time. This isn't just a trade deal. It's a power move. So with this $214 billion deal now locked in, the big question is, what happens next?